フルカウンター
Alright boys, welcome back to the Black Clover mobile video. Boys, someone has finally translated all of the characters and skills in the game. So today we're going to do probably a long video and go through every character, not only for myself, but for you lot. On the timeline right now, you can jump cut to whatever character you want to, or visit the site yourself, and we're going to break down every character because I want to understand what the game is all about and see what these characters actually do to see if I can actually remember them and obviously take it into my gameplay as well. So let's boys, let's jump into it. Video's going to be long. If you're new, subscribe. We're doing Black Clover content daily, so you might as well subscribe. Alright, so this is a site. This will be linked in the second link in the description because what I do recommend you check out, to be fair, by the time you watch the video, it might already be out, but this is a Pridewen actual site. This is what we're going to be using today, but there is a site being made currently right now, and that is the actual Black Clover database. If you come from Grand Cross, it's the exact same person doing this, and I do know that this site is going to get constantly updated, where this one may not. So for now, it's actually pretty good, but probably in a few days or even a few hours now, this site should be updated and have all the latest news that you should definitely check it out. So this will be linked first in the description, this will be linked second, but this is what we're going to be on today because this is the one currently out right now. So we'll start off with basically all the characters. We'll start with SSRs first, so we're going to start through Asta. This is the seasonal one. So his first skill, I'm pretty sure you lot can see it. I might need to mute myself actually. Alright, so the Academy Asta, very good character, one of the highest, no, literally the high attack in the game. Bear in mind, Asta doesn't have magic, so of course. Okay, so his first skill, his skill 1 is going to do a single target damage, but if the character doesn't have a buff on him, he's going to deal additional damage, but every single time the character uses one of these skills, he's going to buff up, plus he gets buff for his passive, so this basically means always he's going to have additional damage equal to 70% of attack, which has the highest attack in the game, and like I said, you're going to apply the actual increased damage too, so a very, very good skill. Literally, Asta, although the character, from the looks of it, was meant to be a PvE character, he's just kind of broken. His second skill, he's going to increase his own attack by 42% and also increase his stamina by a fixed amount, but the character only has an 80% chance to actually get that stamina increase. Still quite high, to be fair. Moving on to his actual special, so his ultimate, he is going to grant an extra turn when he attacks an enemy who is above 80% HP. So this is kind of what the meta is right now in PvP. You start first, you nuke some of your ultimate, then you get another turn and you then do single target damage, whether that be for your skill 1 or your skill 2 skill. So you can almost one-shot someone, probably can one-shot someone in PvP, depending on how obviously the things turns out. But yeah, very, very good ultimate, very, very good ultimate. Plus additional damage if you're attacking a boss character. So once again, they kind of made the character meant to be for PvE, but he just works so well in PvP as well. Combined attack as well, you're going to perform a combined attack with your partner, and it only removes barriers before attacking. Kind of good against Nozel, I assume, but yeah, not the best combined attack, but his actual other skills are all solid all around. Passive, he's going to increase his actual attack by 12% at the start of the wave, and also he's going to increase an additional 4% up to 3 times, so it's basically 12% attack. This character is by far going to be probably the top tier character in PvP for a while. It's just insane single target damage, you can't go wrong. Alright, so Charlotte, she is currently out right now. You may not actually get her because she's had such a low rate, probably the rarest character in the game right now. However, she likely will be the next step up banner coming to Black Clover Mobile, probably within the next week or two. I imagine she will be the next banner because at the moment, she's only on the filler rate for Yami and also for Fuegoleon, so she likely be a step up, like how we got in the beta. But she's been changed, and I'm kind of curious how she's going to be because I believe she was one of the worst characters in the game on the actual beta. So let's see what they've done here. I don't remember what she did, so you know, I'm sure they buffed her up. We'll start with passives first because I think going forth, a lot of these characters will run their passives. So the passive is apply a 2.5% damage increase if there is at least one opponent with a mark. So we'll get to the mark later on. She's going to apply a 20% damage reduction to an enemy who has mark for 2 turns. So once again, you want to apply a mark here and let's see how she does it. So her first skill is going to increase her damage dealt by 30% if you attack an enemy with a mark effect. Now moving on to skill 2, just the most important part here is she's going to apply her defense reduction level 2 onto enemies for 2 turns, but what she's going to do then is for 50% chance, you're going to apply a mark onto an enemy for 2 turns. Bear in mind, this is AoE, so you can probably apply it to all of them. So this is the most important part, the mark. The mark, if you can apply it, it is going to last 2 turns, and once again, it means your single target's going to do more damage. It means your passive is going to proc twice because you're also obviously increasing your damage dealt, and you're also lowering the defense reduction by a 20% plus the 50% you're doing with the skill 2. So this is yeah, you really want to proc it. So if you are using Charlotte, if you have gotten her, so you definitely take note of who has the mark effect on, because that is the character she wants to be attacking. And if you do kill someone who has the mark effect, then you're going to get additional turn. So I do like how the idea works, is you want to target the mark target. A bit of RNG there, so it may not be as consistent as obviously Asta, so that's going to lower it down a little bit, because I mean, there's a possibility you may not mark anyone. At that point, the character seems quite useless. The ultimate is going to apply once again attack reduction, so she is obviously going to be a bit of a debuffer for 2 turns, but also the 4% chance of applying bleed. But then a combined attack is also going to apply incapacitation, which is going to increase damage taken by 70%. Also, the actual combined attack does change to an attack if you have got Soul on the team, which is going to increase her damage by 30% if the enemy has mark. So yeah, this character needs to apply that mark, and at that point, you're going to be starting targeting that mark with her, and you kind of want to leave the mark target to basically her. So yeah, I really like the kit here. That's a kind of Charlotte broken down. It seems pretty good, to be fair. Like, not bad, but once again, RNG, because once again, you may have a start where you may not mark all the targets, and at that point, she seems quite useless. And it's every 3 turns, by the way, so it's there's gonna be 1 turn where she's not gonna be good, because the mark leads after 2 turns, so for 1 turn she's basically meh. So yeah, character seems quite okay. Definitely not broken though. Alright, so we now have Fuegoleon. He's a character I got in the beta, did not like him, but I have now heard he's been buffed up a little bit. So what you're going to do on his passives is 5% damage increase, 3.5% damage increase when attacking enemies with burn. So he wants to have burn onto targets. And also as well, unique passive, upon using skill 2, apply 1 burn debuff onto an enemy, dealing continuous damage for 2 turns. So his actual skill 2 is AoE, and it does sound like you're going to get 1 guaranteed burn, where Charlotte doesn't have guaranteed marks, basically. So very, very good, because like Charlotte, she has a 50% chance to apply burn, but at least for the passive, he is guaranteed 1 burn. So a little better, plus the skill comes back every 2 turns, and the actual burn lasts every 2 turns. So I think with him, he's kind of similar to Charlotte in the way there, but he's more consistent, because he's always going to get burns. His skill 1 is going to increase damage dealt by 30% when attacking enemy with a damage of effect over time, which damage of effect is like bleed, you know, burn basically. So going to pair quite well, I believe, with Jack, and I think Leo as well. His ultimate is going to apply a 4% damage increase to himself in attacking a character with a damage effect skill. So once again, burn or bleed. And also as well, since it is single target, it's going to guarantee apply burn onto his character for 2 turns. So overall, a pretty good kit. His combined attack is very similar to his actual skill 1. He does a single target skill, which will deal more damage if there is a damage over time effect onto someone. So yeah, that is Fuegoleon. Sounds pretty good, to be fair. He's got more ways of consistently applying increased damage, but he also has a way of applying burns and, you know, damage over time effects to himself. But you can easily pair that up with other characters in the game that do that, where Charlotte, for example, I believe she may be the only character to apply mark. So if anything to take away is that Charlotte is just a worse version of Fuegoleon. Alright, so Jack, what he's going to do is apply a 7% increased damage done upon attacking enemy with continuous damage. So once again, damage over time effects. He has the same way of doing this as well. Also, his unique passive is apply a Sever to himself for 1 turn upon using skill 2. Sever applies increased damage done to yourself proportionate to remaining HP, max 30%. So I believe he wants to have more than 30% HP when he uses that skill when he gets like a max buff. I could be wrong there. But his first skill has a 6% chance of applying bleed onto 1 target for 2 turns. Second skill, I believe, is kind of crazy. So he's going to buff himself up for 2 turns, increase penetration by 75% for 2 turns, apply crit rate by level 4, so 26% chance of critting, and also as well has a 60% chance of applying speed increase after 2 turns, which is 35%. So a massive buff. So if you apply bleed and you have someone else who can apply, you know, continuous damage, so damage over time. So like obviously Fuegoleon, these two work quite well together. This single target skill is going to do quite a lot of damage. I've seen a bit of gameplay from Jack, and he's definitely a single target nuker. It's kind of crazy. Alright, so Death Side of his ultimate has an 80% chance of applying bleed onto 1 target, dealing continuous damage for 2 turns. He also attacks with a 10% crit increase, or crit damage increase, for each buff he does have. So you really want to use the actual buff skill before you use the ultimate, because that's going to almost guarantee, hopefully, a crit, basically, because you do have a crit chance, and you're also dealing more damage on a crit. So yeah, definitely want to use the ultimate before using the actual Death Cipher. But if they don't die, then you have a bleed, so once again, your single target skill do more damage too. His combined attack can be combined with Yami as well. It's a simple one. It's going to do single target damage, but more reliable, because what it's going to do now is increase damage if there is a debuff, which once again the character can do, and you can do with your team. Once again, if you get Mark, for example, you get Fuegoleon, you can just apply basically burn, and boom, he's doing way more damage. With Yami, if you have a combined attack with him, he is going to increase his crit rate by, basically, what was it, 20? Yeah, 18%. So, there is Jack. He is a single target god, basically. He's going to do really, really good damage. Both single target with his actual skill and his ultimate, but you do have to use the skill before you do it. So, it takes around 1 to 2 turns to fully max out a passive, and you've got to have some support with him to get, obviously, the constant damage over time effects onto the characters. So, Fuegoleon, from the looks of it, is going to be probably his best partner. But we haven't read all the skills yet, so we have to wait and see. Alright, so next we have Leo. So Leo is, once again, I can see already has a burn. So once again, going to kind of help Fuegoleon a little bit here. But let's start the passives. Passive 1 is going to increase damage done. So just once again, more damage. The actual unique passive is going to increase damage done to himself upon attacking enemy with burn. So yeah, he has a way of applying burn. Canon to everyone is the main character plus adjacent. So quickly, if you don't know what the adjacent part means, you can see it's not AoE. It's just like the first 3 people. So AoE is all 4. We've attacked this guy in the middle right now. It's going to deal damage towards the left person and the right person, but not full AoE. So it's still pretty good. As you can see, boom, attacks the first 3. And we got 2 burns on. Not bad. Alright, so skill 1 is going to apply a 50% lifesteal before attacking, and that recovers HP proportionate to the damage done. So it's kind of cool, actually, the fact that lifesteal is actually a buff, because I know for Grand Cross, for example, not the time to bring it up here, but lifesteal is a part of the character's base kit, and it can get a bit outrageous. So very, very cool. That means he's going to be healing quite a lot back, but it is only single target, so probably not too much here. His second skill we showed already, but this is going to increase his actual magic before attacking, proportionate to the actual, you know, HP on himself. So the first skill makes a bit more sense than the fact that he can lifesteal, but there's only maximum 5% chance. I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments if that is like HP remaining or HP, you know, max HP, right? But also has a 50% chance of applying burn on the 2 enemies. So definitely him and Fuegoleon are like the duo you want to run together. Probably you want to use his skill, then you want his Fuegoleon, and you have hopefully consistent burns onto all the targets, and then boom, both him and also Fuegoleon doing massive, massive damage here. His actual ultimate is going to be 50% damage increase onto a single target if there are burns. Also as well is going to apply 50% life. So basically single target and also the AoE skill, kind of adjacent skill, mixed into one single target ultimate, and the combined attack as well is if there's an enemy affected by a debuff, attacks after applying a 5% damage increase to itself on a single target. So yeah, that is Leo, basically a support to Fuegoleon. That's as simple as that. Alright, so now we get to Lotus. You can see why he's one of the best characters in the game. And what he can do at the start of the battle, or whenever at the start, he's going to increase his actual magic by 12%. And then also his passive, it has a 25% chance to apply a 10% attack reduction for 1 turn upon attacking, and he has an AoE skill. So remember this when we look at his AoE skill, which is has a 50% chance to decrease the stamina by 50%. So pretty good. You're gonna lower the stamina plus also lower the attack as well. Obviously, it's only you know, 25% chance and a 50% chance, but I think the AoE skill, the damage as well, was, by the way, it's kind of pretty decent. It's not bad. And this is skill 1, so you're constantly always doing this, so this is massive. His second skill is going to extend the debuff duration. So if you have him and William, for example, William can turn someone into a tree. I think you can then extend that for 2 turns, and a single target as well. So kind of massive, right? But also as well, he's going to reduce the damage received, so they take more damage, I believe, for 2 turns. So kind of massive. His ultimate is by far what makes him one of the best characters in the game, and that is simply the fact 100% guaranteed AoE. He's going to increase damage taken by 50%. No 50% chance, no 25% chance. He guarantees that onto all targets, which means for 2 turns, you are dealing 50% more damage, basically, which is insane. But also has a 50% chance to remove all buffs, and has a 50% chance to reduce the actual speed by a 55%. So that means they're just getting turns less quicker. Insane ultimate. Probably one of the best I've seen so far. Probably the best I've seen so far, actually. His combined attack, it has a 60% chance of decreasing stamina onto an enemy. Well, I guess AoE, so it can 60% chance onto any enemy. And yeah, not the greatest by itself, honestly. I think you'd rather use the ultimate, to be honest with you lot. But you can combine it with, obviously, Mars, which would then guarantee the speed reduction by 55%, which is what he does in the ultimate. So I don't know why you'd want this, I think, because it's AoE. The ultimate has a chance of doing it, but this is guaranteed. But the speed reduction may be useful later on, but I think you'd rather just take the damage increase. Alright, so Mars is a good skill. So his actual passive, unique passive, is going to apply debuff block onto all allies for 1 turn at start combat. This definitely good for PvP, but I believe someone's correct me if I'm wrong here, but debuff block don't stop every debuff. I believe it's only particular ones, but I'm not entirely too sure which one just yet. So I'll definitely test it out. But I don't believe it's every debuff, just the majority of them and the ones that will negatively affect you. Passive, simple one. Reduce damage taken by 5% when being attacked. And that's kind of good when you look at its first skill, which has a 60% chance to taunt an enemy just by dealing single target damage. So this is a way of taunting, basically. The character is definitely, I think, more of a mix of a taunt character. And his actual skill 2 is a bit crazy, and I think they might have nerfed a little bit, because I think the multiplier was a lot higher. So what it does do, it's single target, you can only use this every 3 turns. What they're going to do, has a 40% chance of stunning, and bear in mind, you have stun gear, for example, and I believe you can even increase it with the actual skill page. It's, yeah, this can almost sometimes guarantee stuns, or at least you can favor it to be like that if you build them up properly. What he's going to do is reduce the defense by 60% onto an enemy for 2 turns if they are under the effect of a stun. So you really want that actual stun to proc here, because what I believe it will do is stun and then apply the damage reduction. Also, you can see right now you can level up skill, which I haven't really gone into detail about, but you can increase the stun up to 60% plus the actual you know, gear. Yeah, it's a very, very good chance this is going to stun. The ultimate is going to apply Fortify level 3, which is going to reduce damage taken by 34%. Plus with the passive as well, so it's basically going up to like 40%. Plus you can increase it too. Plus has a 25% chance to apply debuff durations. So if you do manage to get a stunner, for example, and you're able to attack before they actually lose the stun, then you can actually increase it, or hopefully increase it by 25%. But also as well, if they do lose a stun, they still have that damage reduction. So yeah, you can also once again extend it too. Combined attack has a 40% chance of applying stun onto one enemy, and this is AoE, by the way. So definitely you want to go towards a combined attack here, because you don't really care. I mean, you're going to lose that damage reduction, but you know, having a chance to stun the whole team, kind of nuts, right? And if you combine with Lotus, for example, you have a 100% chance to apply reduced attack and magic by 23% if their stamina is below 50. So that is massive, but also has a 40% chance to taunt all enemies. Reading through the kit right now, it looks like you want to combine it, but not with Lotus, because, I mean, this looks alright, but once again, they have to be below 60, or they have to be below 50% stamina, which you can obviously, you know, work around. But, yeah, the stun on the AoE just seems way more better, just to combine it with someone else, rather than, obviously, Lotus, or even using the ultimate. Mimosa, the Clover Academy outfit, the season 1. Let's go for our actual passive. She seems really, really good, actually. And they kind of reworked it as well, which is insane. So, passive is going to, obviously, reduce damage taken, kind of what Mars does. Passive, resurrects an ally with 50% HP by using a special skill. We'll get to that in a second. The first skill is Plant Energy. You're going to grant an ally with the lowest HP recovery equal to 120% magic attack, and also has a 45% chance to apply increased special points onto an ally who has HP has been recovered. So this is always going to heal the lowest HP character, but also can increase the special points, which is nice, right? Because that goes towards the actual combined attack and also the special skill. So very, very good. A little bit RNG, because once again, they got to target the person, and if you want that, go towards Yami, but the attack Asta, then it's still very, very good. I think better for PvE, but still very, very good for PvP. Alright, so this Flower Garden makes more sense now that we've translated it, because it was kind of weird when you watch it in the actual, like, you know, gallery when you actually use her. What you're going to do, you're going to apply Flower Garden around yourself. So it looked like it was single target, but it is actually AoE, which is going to grant all allies with HP recovery. So once again, you're going to heal all your allies. And also, once again, you're going to extend buff duration. So anyone on the team that has a buff, you're going to also extend that. So it might be good with, obviously, Jack. Remember, Jack buffs up to 2 turns. You can then extend that for 3 turns. Kind of crazy, right? And also increase damage resistance by 25% for 2 turns. Pretty powerful skill too, and that's every 3 turns, by the way. So that's definitely massive. Don't use that straight away from the looks of it, but you want to use that probably like within like the first 2 turns, I'd say. The special skill, so the ultimate, you are going to grant all allies with HP recovery with more, obviously, magic attack. Also, as well, you're going to apply 140% defense, which is massive. But also, as well, you're going to resurrect a designated ally with 30% HP. But also, proc that unique passive. So I believe they get upwards to, so what is it, 80% HP? That seems kind of cracked, right? I mean, if they just spend like 2 or 3 times just killing a target to resurrect them with 80% max HP, or, you know, have recovered HP, that is kind of insane. And then the combined attack is going to apply a buff to the partner, so she's not going to attack, which is going to increase attack by 100%, which is once again massive. I mean, insane, right? Just increasing like Yami attack by 100%. Not that great, because Yami has magic attack, but I guess that goes towards Asta. So increasing Asta's actual attack by 100% is going to be kind of crazy, and has a 50% chance of applying increased special points by 1 to the partner. So yeah, I need to look over, but I believe, yeah, this is going to be more beneficial towards Asta, because he has the highest attack in the game, where so increasing like, you know, Yami's attack is not that great, because he has mostly magic attack. But yeah, that was mostly a pretty good kit, man. That resurrect, I need to see it in game, man. I haven't gotten it yet, but that seems broken. Nozel is going to be a debuff. Let's go for the passives here. His first passive is going to be a fortify to himself if you have 3 or more SP. This is pretty going to play every start of battle because I mean, I assume if you use your ultimate, you're going to then lose it because it looks like you apply it every single turn for the looks of it, or maybe at the start of battle, which is still quite nice to be fair. Passive applies a 2.5% increased damage done. It does at least one enemy with an actual debuff effect. He has a single target poison, so this goes towards the damage over time, so might work really well with, obviously, you know, Jack might work well, obviously, for Fuegoleon. AoE Silver Whip is going to be a 3-turn skill, which applies a magic reduction onto all enemies with 2 turns, which reduces their magic attack by 44%. This kind of depends on the meta, I'd imagine, because if there's a lot of Astas running around, lowering magic attack by 44% when Asta has 0 is yeah, not going to be too helpful, but towards, I imagine, like Yami, for example, lowering this by a lot would be actually kind of massive, to be fair. His ultimate, Reign of Silver, is going to apply a weapon disarm level 3 onto all enemies with 2 turns. Now, I'm not entirely too sure what weapon disarm is. I imagine it's disabling the skill 2 effect, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but it does disable 1 skill from the looks of it. The combined attack is going to reduce the special gauge on a single target by 2. So if you have, let's say, a Mimosa, if they're going to about to resurrect someone with the ultimate, then you lower it by 2 would be kind of massive. But I don't think you can tell if they have ultimates. And you can at the start of battle because everyone has ultimates. But this will be, I guess, more beneficial towards the PvE content. Combined attack, but if it is with, obviously, Fuegoleon, upon landing a crit, it applies poison onto enemies. So this is an AoE skill, but you only have to crit 1 target from the sounds of it, and that's going to deal continuous damage. Also have a 40% chance to incapacitate someone for 2 turns, which obviously decreases damage taken by 50%. So very similar to Mars, basically. So very similar towards, obviously, Lotus. So it's a pretty good combined attack there, but you have to have Fuegoleon, who's you know, just a new character, not really easy to get. So yeah, my big takeaway from this guy is he is going to work well with, obviously, Fuegoleon, but yeah, this second skill has me worried a little bit because it's basically useless against Asta. Definitely when it's a meta, if there tends to be a meta where it's just magic attack users, which, to be fair, should be majority of the game, right? It's only Asta, but as you can imagine, Asta is a main character, and he's going to be kind of popular and be used in almost every single team. So yeah, this it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright, but you know, you gotta be a bit wary. Rades, that is pronounce it. It's like Hades, right? But Rades. So I love his skills, by the way. It's just names: Jimmy, David, and Cole. Sick. It's sick. Okay, so his passive is upon attacking enemy has a 30% chance to taunt the attacker for 1 turn, so only taunting that one person he actually attacks. Passive, it applies a special speed or speed by 7. Pretty good. Jimmy has a 40% chance of applying poison, dealing continuous damage for 2 turns. David has a increased defense onto all allies for 2 turns, and it does attack everyone as well. 2-turn skill, by the way. Cole is going to increase allies' barriers equal to 140% of magic attack. To be fair, there's a lot, from what I've seen, you know, deal this based off magic attacks. So, you know, Nozel might not be too bad then, because you're going to lower a lot of these characters' actual abilities. Because lowering Mimosa's magic attack, lowering Rades' magic attack is going to be massive, because then the actual abilities are doing less stuff. So, mostly healing for less. He's now making a barrier base less off his actual magic. Also has a 50% chance to increase endurance, which is going to increase endurance by 25%. Not really too sure what that actually does because we need to look at the stats. And then grants debuff immunity onto all life for 2 turns. Once again, I need to check if debuff immunity is literally immune to every debuff, but I don't believe it is, at least from what I've heard. Combined attack, he's going to be a single target attack that has a 6% chance to taunt the enemy for 2 turns. And he also has this one too, so it's basically 90% chance to taunt a target, which, I mean, could be good if you're trying to, you know, bully someone, but this don't look that good. I think you'd rather take the ultimate and just have a 30% chance to taunt a target with a tier 1 skill. That seems more better to me. Rill, let's see what this guy does. He has been nerfed since the beta, or changed. I don't say nerfed, he may have been better. Let's see what he does. So if you have 4 or more special points, you're going to apply a magic increase, which is at 42% before attacking. So your single target skill do a lot of damage if you have more than 4 actual special skills, which you got to be worried about. But to be fair, you can kind of stall with your tier 2 if you use it at the right time. So a skill 2, which used to be a counter, is going to reduce defense by 60%, so you're dealing with damage in a way, but also onto all enemies, and has a 50% chance to apply a dispel buff onto an enemy, which is going to remove positive effects. So that is yeah, any buff basically. So if you use this against Jack, that could be kind of massive. Ultimate has been changed. It's going to increase damage taken by 50%, but also as well has a 40% chance to stun. That seems quite massive. Stun and AoE ultimate. Combined attack is a single target skill that has an 8% chance to apply buff block. So imagine if you really want to use this to start a turn on, I guess, Jack, because then you can't buff up, and that's for one turn though. So it's only going to stop for one turn. I guess if they use the buff effect, if the bot is stupid and uses it, they won't gain the buff, and then you can't use it for 3 turns. That'd be kind of good, I guess. We didn't go through the passives, but he has a 7% increased damage done to attacking a defender. So he is a debuffer, so you kind of have to be knowledgeable about who is a defender and who should he be attacking. Upon using skill 1, debuff extends for 1 turn. So if he has reduced defense for 2 turns, if he keeps using the single attack skill, he's going to keep on extending for 1 turn. Pretty good. Alright, so Sully has actually been buffed since the beta. I think been buffed because I think she was quite tricky on the beta to use her. But her passive is going to grant HP recovery equal to 7% of max HP at the start of the wave. So kind of good against PvE, but waves I don't believe matter in PvP. And the unique passive is going to increase all attack, which you can see right here. All attack is magic and also you know, base attack by 50%, but that's level 3. So I imagine level 1's like 10%, maybe 15% of a special skill by a 1. So everyone's ultimate, I believe, is going to do more damage from the sounds of it. Skill 1 is going to apply 90% life steal to herself, which is kind of crazy if that's actually dealing quite a lot of damage. But once again, if you use Nozel and Nozel lowers the actual magic attack, then yeah, this ain't going to be too much. The second skill seems quite good, actually. You're going to choose one random ally on your team, can be yourself if you want to, which is going to increase magic attack by level 4, which is 84% magic attack. You're going to increase crit rate by 26% and also extend buff durations, and use it for 2 turns, which is kind of insane. You can imagine using that against Yami, right? That's going to be insane buffs. I mean, more crit on Yami, more magic attack on Yami. That is going to be kind of nutty. Even use this towards Jack. If you use like Jack buff and use this buff as well, like that's going to be insane. Like I really want to see this in action. Ultimate is going to apply all attack by level 3. So once again, more magic and more attack. So it goes towards Asta as well on all allies. And also increase damage, crit damage to all allies with the same attribute. That's new. We haven't seen that in the game already. And she's red. So Yami's red. So yeah, yo, her and Yami might be kind of crazy together. Combined attack is going to increase magic by level 5 to your partner. So probably using that against Yami. And that's going to be a magic attack by 100% and has a 50% chance of applying stamina increase to your partner. And once again, you can extend the buffs as well with this actual skill too. So yo, I think so far she's like her best partner is Yami. William is a pretty simple character, but very, very good. His passive had a 30% chance of applying 10% stamina increase to himself upon being attacked. So he could get attacked 4 times in 1 turn, and you may just get basically a free turn, right? His actual second skill is going to apply 4 fire to allies for 1 turn upon using a special skill. So yeah, use your ultimate start of battle, maybe to go to his skill 1, which is funny. They kind of like nerfed the skill 2, but like kind of buffed in a way. So I think it might be even better. Has a 4% chance to transform someone into a tree, which is different from the base. Because the beta guaranteed like the transformation, where now it's only a 4% chance, but it's on a skill 1, so you can do that every single turn. And to be fair, I've had runs where they transform like 2-3 turns in a row, so it's yeah, it may have been buffed. To be fair, this is a very, very good and kind of a broken skill. To be fair, the second skill is yeah, insane buff. So what you're gonna do is increase attack by 84%, which you know, scales well with Asta, for example, but still, I guess, beneficial towards other characters, but just not as much. But also, is where you can increase the speed, so they're obviously faster, 65%, by the way, insane. And also increase the stamina by a fixed amount, but it's only procs if an ally has stamina below 50. So ideally, you probably want to use this after someone attacks, because then you have a 60% chance of doing it. The ultimate applies Fortify level 3, which reduces damage taken by 44%, but also applies a counter attack onto ally with the highest actual attack for 1 turn. So, this is always going to go towards Asta, because Asta always has the high attack. Yami, for example, has pretty high attack, but most of it's from magic. Yeah, very tricky. You got Rill on your team who has the actual high attack, and the counter attack seems like a reflect for the sounds of it, but they also may just attack back. But I believe it might just be reflect. So you deal damage. So if they deal damage towards someone, you should reflect some damage back. I don't think you get a special animation, but I could be wrong. I've been using the character, haven't seen it just yet. Combined attack is going to apply a buff to himself and his partner, which is going to actually reduce or ignore 40% of the target's defense and single targets. So I believe this might be good against Mimosa, and I think Mars, who, if I correct me wrong, does increase his defense a little bit, so that'd be good attacking them too. But I think you'd rather use the ultimate. Alright, so Yami is, yeah, a little bit, I think, insane. So, I don't remember what he did in the beta, but I believe he's been buffed, at least from what I've heard. So, his passive is going to increase his actual critical damage by 50%, so a little bit of a crit unit. So, any character that can increase his crit chance will be obviously beneficial towards him. Passive is increasing damage dealt towards attacking a boss character. Yeah, kind of sad actually, because that would have been, I mean, the guy's pretty good, but if he had a better passive for PvP, that'd be kind of nice too. But I think the guy's still kind of insane. His actual first skill, and this is just broken for PvE content because you're just clearing everyone. You're going to attack everyone, and upon landing the crit, and Birdman, he does like 2 attacks, so one of them could be obviously crit. It's going to apply bleed, and bleed's kind of important towards the character. So any other character can bleed, like obviously, what single target Jack can do as well. The next skill would then obviously stun if there's a bleed. So you want to make sure when using the second skill that you want to use it on someone who has actually, you know, has the bleed effect. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But also as well, you're increasing damage done by 30% if you attack an enemy who's a boss character. So once again, kind of looks like the character's being made for PvE content and going towards bosses. But it doesn't really matter because yeah, that stun is going to be helpful for PvP content too. The ultimate is going to increase the crit rate by 16% or 18%, which is going to make him do more damage. Give you crits, he does more damage. And also has a 6% chance to apply bleed onto an enemy. I really wish it was 100%. 6% seems quite low, especially considering that it's single target. It does say stun here, but I believe that's just wrong. The combined attack, what it's going to do is going to be AoE, which is if he does have a buff skill, which the character can't really buff up too much from the looks of it. It looks like they do get damage increased, but I don't think the actual buff, so you might need a buffer. Once again, William might be good actually. It increases damage done by 50%. So it looks like the actual Dark Cloak Slash, the actual ultimate, is going to be a bit better because you're going to get almost a better chance of critting, and it's going to do more damage to the passive, where this one, I mean, yeah, I think the ultimate is better. And one thing I haven't gone over is like the actual stats of the characters, but the crit damage from what we've seen has been kind of insane. So any way this guy can crit, it's going to just deal more damage to bleed, but also just deal more damage in general. So yeah, Yami, on paper, he doesn't sound as impressive towards some other characters that I've seen. Like, you don't like, oh, he can be broken. But I think in practice, he just is, because he does crit and does crazy crit damage, which, you know, isn't really representative of the actual skill page here. But, yeah, the guy is a must-have because, once again, the AoE skill, it's just, you need that for PvE, bro. Like, just clearing bosses and clearing PvE content, it's just so much better. And then finally with Yami, and once again, on paper, I believe this character sounds way better than the red one, but in practice, the red one does look pretty impressive. But this character's insane. Okay, let's break it down, So the first skill, I need to go for the passive, applies a 5% damage done to himself, so he does more damage. New passive does 50% more damage towards favorable damage to himself. So if he has attacking someone who's type advantage, he's going to do more damage. Compared to the red Yami, he's doing more damage towards bosses, so this guy definitely looks more impressive in a way. The first skill is going to be a single target skill, which increases all attack, which is magic, and also attack to himself if the character has 4 or more SP gauge, which is yeah, very, very good. You probably want to use that maybe turn 1. You might want to save the ultimate. We'll get through that later on because this is kind of a situational thing, but still very, very good. And to be fair, you probably will use that turn 1. But the actual skill 2 is a 3-turn skill, by the way, so you can't use it always. What you're going to do is block all HP, and not even a chance. You just do it. So he's always going to block healing. Going to be very, very good against Mimosa. Very, very good against Sully in a way because Sully has lifesteal and so is Leo. Going to be very good for that reason. But does that apply towards Mimosa's ultimate? I assume so. I think it just blocks all healer outright, so massive, massive, man. But also does increase his special points by 1. So, massive. I think if you have use your ultimate, use this right afterwards, and you may actually have 4 or more actual SP gauge. So your single target skills do a lot more damage. Then we get to his ult, which is insane. So it's single target because if it was AoE, it would be the best character in the game, and may actually be the best character in the game. But if it was AoE, it would be insane. What he's going to do is total silence guaranteed, by the way, which is going to stop skill 2s and also ultimate. So for example, you know, Mimosa can actually heal on the skill 2 and also the ultimate. So attacking, you know, Mimosa is going to be kind of insane. Plus you're blocking heal anyway. It's just insane. Like, you're blocking tier 2 skills. Now, bear in mind, Red Yami does have a AoE that deals a lot of damage if he crits, and that is on a skill 1. So doing it against Yami, it's not going to be too great. So the Yami kind of go back and forth a little bit, but he does have type advantage. So if he uses it against Yami, then it's going to be, you know, GG. But also as well, it's going to reduce the special points by 3 onto an enemy. So massive. I mean, if you find another Yami, like the blue one, reducing their special points by 3, so they're hopefully below 4, but also stopping the ultimate, it's going to be insane. It's generally one of the best ultimates in the game. It might be the best single target ultimate. I think that I've seen so far 100%. Combined attack is going to remove a barrier upon attacking. It doesn't seem that great. Like, compare the ultimate, like, single target, like, who cares about removing a barrier, right? I mean, it may be useful in, like, a boss fight or something, but, like, you definitely rather apply the total silence, which is going to disable the skill 2 and the ultimate, and also reduce the skill points. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, there's no reason to use this. Alright, so that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. I know it's kind of long and you couldn't really tell, but I want to talk about it. I kind of want to give my opinions and, you know, just remember to myself, because I'm talking to you lot about it, and it will just make me remember even more now. So I now have an understanding of what the characters do, and hopefully you guys do too. Now, if you want to see this for the SRs and the rare characters, then I'll probably make that for a separate video, because I imagine this video might be nearly like 40 to an hour minutes long. So, yeah, well, thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.